Angel, I was talking to you. I didn't know it was going to mute you.
No worries.
All right. Okay. All right. I see Angel on Twitch. Hi, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Hello, YouTube. YouTube friends. Hey, Monica. Hey, Monica. All right. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Twitch. Come on in, everybody. Those of you that are going to be sewing jeans with us. Come on in. Come on in. Oh, this is cool. Angel, I can see the YouTube. I didn't know I could see the YouTube.
Yeah, I'm just now noticing that too, that we can see
Yeah,
like
that's
all the
cool.
comments in one.
Yeah. Cool. Super cool. Super cool. Come on, YouTube. Come on in. YouTube, Twitch. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes. If you are sewing the ginger jean with us, go ahead and get your machine set up. You should have cut out your pattern pieces, interfaced your pocket pieces and everything you needed to interface. Get your little pin cushions together or wristlets, whatever it is that you're going to be using. Line up all your pattern pieces, and then we're going to jump right in and get started in a few minutes. Angel is doing her pocket pieces. Get your iron, have your iron on, set up, ready to go. Hi, Nicole. Come on in.
Hello.
All right. Hi, Dory B. Come on in. Dory B, are you sewing jeans or are you just watching, hoping that one day you're going to sew jeans? Let me know if you're sewing along with us. Who's sewing along with us? If you're sewing along with us, type in the chat, let's go. If you are sewing along with us, type let's go.
Let's go, let's go.
This is going to be fun. So let me tell you how this came to be. Those of you that are new, don't know anything about me, my name is Mia. I'm the owner of the Couture Beauty and Sewing Academy, and I teach adults and children how to sew. My specialty is garments. That's what I love to sew. That's my jam. But I can pretty much teach anything sewing related. Dory B's finishing a dress, but she'll be sewing jeans. Awesome sauce. Okay. And so teaching individuals how to sew. I'm excited too. Good. Yay. I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited too. It's going to be fun. Oh, you broke your machine, Nicole. Oh no. Oh no. And so I teach individuals how to sew. It's what I love to do, right? And this little sew along, this is actually a class I teach in shop and online. But what happened was I was sewing for Sew Your View. Okay, so if you are making the jeans, so Dory, if you're on Instagram, you're gonna have to post a picture on your Instagram page. Hey Kim, is that Kim Bonafide? That's Kim. Hey, if you are on Instagram, Dory B, if you're on Instagram, you're going to want to follow Sew Your View. And then you're going to want to take a picture of your jeans and tag at Sew Your View, because Sew Your View for January, the ginger jean was jeans period was their sew along, like their sew. And so with Sew Your View, you take the pattern, you sew whatever view you want to sew, and then you tag them and you post it on their page, and they will, share what you made. So all of us who are making our jeans, we're a month late and it's perfectly fine. We're still going to tag at Sew Your View and show our jeans for January's Jeanuary that they did. We're just a little bit behind, and it's perfectly fine. It happens all the time for Sew Your View. Perry, you had a question for me? Did I miss something? Okay, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Those of you that are on Twitch, you're gonna have ads. Let me know when the ads come so I can let everybody know. Those of you on Twitch, you're gonna have ads that pop up. If you are on YouTube, you should be good. With no ads. You should be good. So anyway, this came about because I was sewing my muslin, ginger jean muslin, on Twitch. And Angel, who is here with us, let's highlight Angel. Let's get over to Angel. Wait a minute. Angel, say hi. There she is.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
So Angel was on, and we were just chatting, and I was chatting about jeans, and I was like, hey, have you ever sewn jeans? She was like, I'm nervous. No, I haven't, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's easy. We ought to do it together. And that's how this came about. And I was like, okay, I'll do a free sew along, free class, and we'll do it together, because she's a newbie sewing 2 years or so. And she was just a bit nervous about jumping in and actually sewing a pair of jeans. So that's how this came about. So we're going to have fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Let's go ahead. It's been almost 10 minutes. That's enough time to jump in and get your stuff together. And then those that are late can catch the replay on YouTube, and you can catch the replay for 7 days on Twitch. All right. So those of you that are actually sewing with us, actually going along, taking the journey with us, we're going to be together from 7 to 9 tonight. Whatever we don't finish, we'll come back tomorrow night, part 2, and we'll continue. Okay. Those of you that are new, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. If you're brand new to sewing jeans and all the things, don't be nervous. It's fine. It's not a race, okay? Don't be nervous. If you make a mistake, it's no big deal. We all make mistakes. I still make mistakes. It's no big deal. It's nothing that you can't fix. It's nothing that you can't change or anything like that. So no worries. Hey, Georgia. Georgia, where are you? Are you on YouTube or Twitch? Let me know which one. So don't be nervous. Okay. Don't feel any kind of way. Perfectly fine. I'm going to walk you step by step how to sew these jeans. So especially if you are a newbie, we are going to walk step by step through this process. No worries. If you are not a newbie, you're like, I got this, then hey, go right ahead. Hang out with us, sew with us, type in the chat, share your expertise, your tips, your tricks, all the things. We want to know it all. Okay. Let me know, Georgia, so I can help you. You're on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, Georgia, you should see there's going to be a chat. Like if you go to our page, click the live button. So you got to click the CBS Academy and then where it says like videos and you know, the little bar, hit live, and then you'll see this actual stream. Once you click the stream, then the chat will be at the bottom. Let me know if it works. All right, party people, let's get the party started. We're good? All right, let's get the party started. Here we go. I am sewing view B. I am sewing view B. Okay. If you are sewing view A or any other view, that's perfectly fine, but I'm going to be working on view B. So if you want to sew view B, we're going to go step by step doing view B. View A is going to be similar. The only difference is that view B has a higher waist. That's it. All right. So view B is going to start. There you are. I see you, Georgia. Hey, Georgia. All right. View B is going to start on page 10. But before we look at view B, you should have seen, if you've got the video, if you saw the prep video, I told you about some prep that you needed to do. And all that prep is on page 8, the bottom of page 8 and the top of page 9. Okay. So you should have prepped your pockets. Okay, your back pockets and your coin pocket. So that will look like this. Your back pocket is going to look like this. You should have top stitched and then pressed under the size 1/2 inch. Also interface that top back section and then turned it under according to the directions here and have those pocket pieces ready. Coin piece looks like this, top stitched across the top and nothing done at the bottom. So those of you that are brand new to sewing, I'm going to sew these jeans with just my Bernina. Okay, I'm not going to use my serger and I'm not going to use another machine. So that means that it's going to take me a little bit longer to sew it because I'm going to have to switch threads. I got to go back and forth between top stitching thread and regular thread. But I'm doing that to show you that you can sew these jeans with just your sewing machine. You don't have to have a serger if you don't have one yet. You don't have to have an additional machine. If you have more than one machine, then you want to have your second machine set up with your top stitching thread. Okay, top stitching thread on the top, regular thread in your bobbin, because then you'll be able to easily go back and forth from sewing and then right over here to top stitching. Okay, sewing, top stitching. For those of you that just have your sewing machine, don't worry about it. We're going to switch out the threads together. If you do not have a serger, I'm going to show you how to finish your edge using a zigzag stitch or the overcast stitch on your machine, where you're just going to like stitch right along the edge to finish the edge. Another thing that you could do is use pinking shears to finish your raw edges. And pinking shears look like this. Okay, they got little jagged teeth. You can finish your raw edges with pinking shears. Okay, so a couple of ways you can do it. If you have a serger, you can use your serger. If you have pinking shears, you can do pinking shears. If you have just your machine, then we can do the overcast stitch on our machine. Okay. All righty. So here we go. That's our prep page. Now, on page 10, you will see the start of assembly for our jeans. The first thing that it tells us to do is to take pattern piece D, and which is going to be our pocket facing, and our coin pocket, and we need to top stitch that. Okay, we need to top stitch that. So let's get that pattern piece out, pattern piece D. I'm going to go ahead and take my pattern piece off, move it to the side. And I'm going to take my coin pocket, and we're going to go ahead and sit our coin pocket. I've got my tailor tack right here, which is the marking that is on my pattern piece. See the marking right here? I transfer that marking to my pattern piece, and there it is. So it's a thread marking. And we're going to put our pocket piece right on top. Okay. We're going to put a pin in the middle just to hold it. And then you see that the instructions tell us to top stitch 2 rows of top stitching right here along the side of the sewing machine. So, I mean, the side of the pattern piece. And so I have my machine already set up with my top stitching thread. And I am going to go ahead now and top stitch that. So let me show you how I get a nice even stitch, or even top stitching, just using my regular sewing machine and my regular presser foot. If you have an edge stitch foot or a specialty foot that you like to use, you can absolutely use that, no problem at all. But if you do not, you can use your regular foot. So this is what I'm going to do. I've got my pocket lined up right here on the bottom. Right here on the bottom. You can see it's lined up perfectly on the bottom. I'm going to turn it upside down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the edge of my pocket. So see the pocket edge right here against the edge of the inside of the presser foot. Okay. I'm going to line that up. All right. When you're top stitching, you want to go ahead and lengthen your stitch length. Lengthen your stitch length. Okay. So I put my stitch length on 3.5. You can use 3.0 or whatever you like, but traditionally you want to lengthen your stitch length. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start our top stitching. And I'm going to just keep the edge of my coin pocket lined up with this inner edge of my presser foot right there, right? Pull out my little tailor tack now. When we get to the end, we're going to back stitch as always. All right. Okay, so there's 1 row of my stitching. Now what I'm going to do is take this row of stitching and keep it aligned with the inside of my presser foot. That will give you a tighter width, but I like mine a little bit wider. So I will flip it this way. And keep the stitching line right on the outside of my presser foot because I like it to be a little bit wider. So if you like it to be a little bit closer, you can keep it, you can do it the way I just had it, but I like mine to be a little bit wider, and I'll show you what it looks like if you do it a little bit wider. So, all right, here we go. Keeping it lined up right on the outside of that stitching line, back stitching at the very end. Okay. And so here's what it looks like. And I like the width of this personally. I like that width. And so this is how I get an even stitching line. Okay? When I don't feel like pulling out the edge stitch foot or grabbing all those things, just get an even stitching line this way. Now, I'm going to take my snips and go ahead and cut my loose threads. Okay? Cut that back here. Cut that. Any type of little bird's nest or anything that my top stitching thread did on the back. I'm going to go ahead and just cut those excess pieces off. And this is not going to show on the front of your garment anyway, all those little excess pieces, but I really like to have everything as neat as I possibly can. All right. So our pocket piece is now top stitched to our coin pocket. Now what they tell us to do is to finish the bottom edge right here, bottom edge of our pocket. Okay, this whole entire pocket facing right here. This is the coin pocket, this is the pocket facing, and they want us to finish from the pocket, from the coin pocket, or actually the entire thing, the entire pocket facing. They want us to finish the edge of that, which you can see here in the picture. Here's a tip. A lot of times sewing instructions will have mistakes or aren't really clear. If ever that happens, you want to simply look at the picture and you can kind of figure out what you need to do. So they give us that image there. So now that means that I've got to take out my top stitching thread and put in my regular thread, because I'm going to do an overcast stitch. Oh, why isn't my thread catching? What is happening? This has never, ever happened before. How crazy. You see this, Angel?
What is it?
My thread isn't catching simply because we're live. This has never, ever
The
happened.
camera's still on the pocket, so we can't see like what's happening on the machine.
Oh, want me to show you the thread? Look at that.
Oh no. This just goes to show things happen, you know?
Like crazy, crazy. Okay, let me move my maybe it could be because I've got that camera right there in the way. So let me move it out the way and let me pull my thread the right way. How's it coming, Dory B? This is so crazy. Hold on. Never, ever has it done this ever. Okay. All right. So I'm putting my regular thread back in the machine. There we go. And I'm going to put my machine on an overcast stitch. If you don't know what that looks like, you're new, this is what it looks like on your machine. Whoops, this stitch right here. Okay. All right. So I've got my machine on overcast stitch, and I'm going to zigzag down the edge to finish it. Remember, you can finish it with a an overcast stitch. You can use pinking shears or your serger if you have one. When you get right here to the coin pocket, go a little bit slow so that you do not break a needle, because it is pretty thick. At least until you get over that top part of that coin pocket. Coming around the curve, just gently turn your fabric. Keep the edge of your fabric lined up with the inside edge of that presser foot. All right. And this is what it looks like. Kind of hard to see because I got this navy blue thread. Might be able to see it better this way. So this is what it looks like, just finishing your edge with a the overcast stitch. Okay. I'll cut off these wiry pieces. All right. So now we've got that pocket piece attached, coin pocket attached to our pocket facing. Now, the instructions will tell us wrong side together. We're putting pattern piece F1, which is our pocket stay, okay, the lining. So we're going to pull out our pocket stay. We're going to take one piece, and the instructions tell us wrong sides together, wrong sides together. So that means I'm going to use this piece, and we're going to lay our pocket right on top of F1, which is our pocket stay bottom. Okay. Line our pocket right up here. All this little excess loose fabric, we can cut that off later, so don't even worry about it. And what we're going to do is stitch 1/4 of an inch around this pocket facing, 1/4 of an inch. So we'll just take some pins, make sure the edges are lined up, throw some pins in there just to keep everything nice and tight and in place. Angel, you all right?
I must be really nervous because I was trying to top stitch my pockets and I kept my thread kept getting caught in the machine and I realized I didn't thread the top thread correctly. And I've never done that before. So I just figured that out and it's
Okay.
gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
No worries. No worries. Deep breath. You're going to be fine. It's okay. Go ahead and re-thread.
Yep.
Okay. Deep breath. No biggie. No biggie. Okay. All right. Moving my top stitching thread out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off this little excess here. Now we're going to go ahead and put this under the machine and we're going to stitch 1/4 of an inch from the edge just on our pocket facing. So let me get back to a straight stitch. Let me get the camera in focus. There we go. All right, 1/4 of an inch. Back stitching at the beginning and the end. If you have your machine set up to automatically backstitch, great. If not, don't forget to press that backstitch button. Okay. So now we've got our pocket facing coin pocket attached to the wrong side of our pocket stay bottom. Okay. We are now going to take pattern piece F2, which is the pocket stay top. And we are going to place it right on top of our pocket stay bottom. You also want this to be wrong sides together. So for this pattern piece here, it's going to sit this way. Line up the edges and the top, pin it in place. Just to keep, this section here from moving. Oh, wait. I got the wrong pattern piece. Now look at that, Angel. Look, you see that? I made a mistake. And it's no big deal.
I love your lining fabric, by the way.
This is fabric that was where did I get this from? I think I actually got this from a thrift store, and I made my daughter something with it, I think.
Very cute.
Yeah, I made my daughter something with it. Okay, so let me show you what we're doing right here. You see this section? This is where we are. Wrong sides together. You're going to sew the top and the bottom pocket stay at the bottom curved edge, right? And then you can serge or use a French seam, or, you know, press the bottom, whatever you want to do. So this is right here what we're doing. But I'm looking at this picture, and I'm looking at how this part here, the front of the bottom pocket stay is peeking through. You don't see that coin section until you flip it. So that's what I'm looking at. So now I'm like, wait. Even though I've made a muslin, I've made this before, I'm like, wait. Let me make sure I'm placing this right, because I'm looking at the picture. Now the picture has me thinking that I've got this piece wrong. So I'm going to figure it out. You like it too? Thanks, Monica. Okay. This is pocket stay bottom, F2 pocket stay top. But that doesn't line up. Hold on. Let me walk through it and make sure this is right, because we're going to end up flipping this the opposite way. Once we attach it. So whenever this happens, whenever you're sewing and something looks like, oh my gosh, this doesn't look right, this looks wonky, or this looks wrong, whatever the case may be, do a like a little basting pin. Just pin it in place and walk through the steps to make sure that you're doing it right before you sew. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this bottom as if I was making a stitching line. So I'll just pin the bottom. And then this is going to tell me if this pattern piece actually is sitting the right way. A lot of times, depending on what you're sewing, it can be confusing, and it just takes a minute to think it through. Okay, so this would be sitting on stitched and sitting on the pocket bottom. And then what's going to end up happening is we're going to open this up and sit this on top of our jean, and then stitch, and then the entire thing flips backwards. So where is, here's my front jean section. This is going to end up sitting right here. And then we're going to do a little stitch right here on this curve. And again, I am pinning this to make sure I've got these pieces the right way. And then this little pocket bag is going to turn towards the inside and sit like that. Okay, so look, I can see that I actually do have it the right way. Okay, because then there's my little coin pocket sticking out of my regular pocket. So that's a little trick for my newbies. If you ever get stuck, you saw that, Angel? If you ever get stuck and you're like, oh my gosh, hey, Carmen, hey girl,
Hey, Carm. Yeah, I did see that, Mia. Thank you.
You saw it? Perfect. So if you ever get stuck, like I just got stuck and I was like, wait, this looks wrong, just pin based your pattern pieces together, and then go ahead and walk through the rest of the steps to make sure that you got it right before actually sewing. So I can see now that this is going to be the right way. So now I can go ahead and flip this back, take my little pin basting off, and turn this back the right way and turn my pins the right way so that I can go ahead and sew the bottom. Line up your bottom edges really good. You know that when you are sewing, pinning, you want your pins to be perpendicular to your stitching line. Okay. And you don't ever want to sew over your pins. Now, I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, it's no problem. You can sew over your pins. It's no big deal. Listen, sewing over your pins can potentially throw the timing off on your machine. You throw the timing off on your machine, you got to take your machine in to be serviced, and that costs a whole lot of money. I don't have time to be throwing the timing off on my machine. So you take your pins out as you sew. Here is one of our pocket pieces, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll start with this one first. So let's sew. See our instructions here. Wrong sides together. Top and bottom pocket stay, and then we're going to sew on this curved edge here. Okay. So, our instructions tell us in the beginning that we're using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I forgot where it is, but I know I saw it. I've already made this before, made the sample before. Oh, here it is. 5/8 of an inch seam allowance right there. And then I don't see the other part, but it's 5/8 of an inch that we're sewing. Here we go. Seam allowance is right here, 5/8. And some areas you're going to sew 3/8. You can trim it to 3/8, but our seam allowance is 5/8. So at the beginning of your pattern, it will always tell you your seam allowance. So we're going to do a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance on this edge. Don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and the end. And if you are new, just go slowly and have the edge of your fabric stay lined up with your seam allowance line as you go around the curves. Okay, that's how you keep your seam allowance. You watch your seam allowance guide, not the needle. If you watch the needle, your stitches will be crooked every time. So you watch the seam allowance guide and keep the edge of your fabric lined up with the seam allowance guide. So see how I'm turning the fabric now, coming around that curve, but I'm still on 5/8. That's what you want. Pull those pins out as you get to it. And then back stitch at the end. Okay. So we got that pocket stay attached. Our instructions now tell us press the bottom flat, and then we're going to attach the pocket lining to the jeans, matching up the top pocket of F2 and leg, this is F2. This is F2 right here. Matching F2 and the leg at the curved pocket opening. Wrong side of pocket touching the right side of leg. So wrong side of pocket touching the right side of leg. You're going to stitch the lining to the leg, snip a few notches along the curved part, which is this picture right here, making sure not to cut into the stitching line. And then you're going to flip that lining to the wrong side. Okay. So let's do that. Let's get pattern piece A. We'll go ahead and take our pins off of our pattern. You all right, Angel?
I'm good. Still top stitching.
Okay.
I'm going very slowly,
Yeah. Good. Good, good, good.
trying to get straight lines.
Okay. So your pant pieces have left and right. Okay. You've got left and right to the pant pieces. Oh, hold on. Let me pick these pins up that I dropped so we don't have any problems with me stepping on them, forgetting they're there and stepping on them. So you have a left and a right, right? And you pretend like if you open these jeans up, here's the center, right? And this is how you would wear. Here's the left pocket piece. Here's the right pocket piece. Okay. And so we're going to stitch this to our right side. And again, you can tell that simply by looking at your picture. Okay. They tell you down here that the reference to left and right leg is shown how it's worn on your body. So if this was on our body, this would be the right pant piece. If this was on our body, because here's the pocket. Here's the back of the jean facing us. There's the pocket. So this would be our left leg. All right. And then you see this right here is telling you to make sure that the wrong side of the pocket touches the right side of the leg. So we are starting with our right leg, which will have our pocket piece like this. So we're going to put this one, the left one, to the side. And our pattern tells us to take the this part F2 and place it on, press your foot up, place it on the right side of our jeans. Okay, so then we're going to take this pattern piece. It's only stitched at the bottom. We can open it flat like that. Okay, so we're going to take our jean like this, take this pattern piece, open it flat, and lay it like this. Okay, so can you see back here? Here's our seam. Here's our coin pocket. Our coin pocket is facing down. It's sitting like this. Okay. And then we're going to stitch it. And then we're going to end up flipping it. So we're only going to stitch around this little edge here. And then we're going to flip it. All right, we're going to sew around. Sew around this edge here, 5/8 of an inch. back stitch. Okay. Now we're going to snip into our curve without touching our stitching line, and then we're going to flip everything to the wrong side. So everything will end up turning in like this. Okay, everything will end up turning in like that. And then this is the inside of our pocket. That's what's going to end up happening, just to give you a visual. Okay. So we're going to snip into this curve. Do not cut your stitching line. Just snip right into the curve. And this snipping into the curve helps the fabric to relax so that when you flip it over, it presses nicely. Now, I am one to understitch. I am an understitching type of girl. The pattern does not tell us to understitch. So if you don't want to understitch, you don't have to. I prefer to understitch because understitching helps to keep the that little lining piece from rolling to the outside. And to understitch, you just simply stitch like 1/8 of an inch from the seam line. You're going to be catching that seam allowance underneath. Just stitch around. And then when we turn and press, it'll turn nice and flat. So I'm going to understitch. Again, pattern does not tell us to understitch, but I like understitching. I like the way it makes everything nice and flat.
Mia, can you tell me what step that would be on so I can make a note for when I get there?
So that would be after you have done this section right here, Angel. After you've done this right here, after
Okay.
you've kind of clipped into the curve,
Uh-huh.
then understitch. And again, you don't have to understitch. You can totally just turn it in and press. You can totally do that. Totally do that. Okay, this is
Perfect.
just my personal preference. And if you have never understitched and want to try it, you're going to feel your seam allowance and just go slow. You're stitching about 1/8 of an inch away, catching the seam allowance underneath the bottom of the fabric. Okay. So now I have understitched. And we are going to press this towards the wrong side and do a double row of top stitching. So this understitching here just helps that little pocket section just to turn nice and flat. See that? It just turns nice and flat. We're going to be able to press it with the iron nice and flat. So get your iron. My iron's gonna heat back up. Thank you, Monica. Yes. Yeah, Carmen. Yeah, it is. Carmen, you talking about understitching? Understitching. Are you saying that there's less pressing because the understitching helps that little piece to stay together? Is that what you're saying? I can move my little tailor tack right there. Yes, yeah. Did y'all see that? Carm pointed out that understitching helps you to do a little bit less pressing, because when you don't understitch, this little piece will automatically roll back, but that understitching helps to keep that piece flat. So technically you could, with your hand, give your hand a nice good flat press, and that understitching will stay right where it is. That's something that you want to do always for any kind of pocket or neckline facing or anything like that. Even when the pattern doesn't tell you to, you want to understitch, because it just gives you a really good, nice finish. So here's my pocket edge. I'm just going to press that nice and flat. I made this little makeshift ironing little area right here so that you guys can see, my newbies can see really well. So you see how nice and crisp this little edge right here looks? That's what that understitching does. Just makes it nice and crisp. Okay. The lining is now flipped towards the wrong side of the denim, and it's pressed flat along the pocket edge. That's what we just did right here. Now it's telling us to do a double row of top stitching. Is that coming in view? There we go. Double row of top stitching along this edge. Okay. And that is going to be right here, a double row of top stitching right here. So again, all of my newbies, with one machine, remember, I'm sewing this just like you. So I am going to take my regular thread out, put my top stitching thread in. For my veterans, or those of you that have more than one machine, go ahead and switch over to your top stitching machine. Yes, Kim, we're going to top stitch right now. Yep. And I am switching my thread over to my top stitching thread. For all of my newbies who have just one machine, no serger, none of the extras, to show you guys that you can do it. You just got to go back and forth between changing your thread. So right here is where we're going to add 2 rows of top stitching. Again, not here. That can move out the way. We're going to go right here, right along this area here. Let's get that in focus. There we go. Right along this section here. So just like I did before, I'm going to, you can use an edge stitch foot if you have one, but I don't want to go through all that. So I'm going to keep the edge of my fabric lined up with this little groove right here on the inside of my presser foot. And that's going to be my little top stitching guide. Oh, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. When you top stitch, you want to lengthen your stitch length. I started on 2.5 and should have been on 3.5, but guess what? I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to start from right here at 3.5. You'll be able to see the difference. Take your time, go slow. Again, it's no rush. And remember, like I said, whatever's not finished today, we're going to work on it some more tomorrow night at 7. And then if we don't finish tomorrow, we will come back Friday night next week, 7 o'clock, and we'll continue. No big deal. Okay. No big deal. So here's my top stitching. You can see here where I started out wrong and then switched. Okay. So I am now going to flip and go the opposite way, because remember I told y'all earlier, I like a little bit of a wider top stitch. So I'm going to keep the outside of my stitching line lined up with the outer edge of my presser foot. The stitching line lined up with the outer edge of my presser foot.
With those kind of mistakes, I like to remind myself that literally no one will notice.
Absolutely.
Maybe someone that sews, maybe they'll notice, but in general, like those mistakes, it's like nobody sees that but you.
Yep.
That calms me down.
Absolutely. It's a design feature. You meant to do it.
Exactly.
Again, as you're top stitching, go slow, turn all your pattern pieces, your fabric as you are turning that curve. I'm just kind of holding that lining down underneath the bottom as I go. With top stitching, you guys can be as creative and as fun as you want. You can do variegated thread to give a multicolored look, which is what I did in my on my muslin. You can do white top stitching thread. You can not top stitch at all if you choose not to. You can not top stitch at all if you don't want to do that. You can do a different color, turquoise, whatever. And you can see here a little bit of a mistake there. It's not as precise as I personally like to have it, but guess what? It's not the end of the world. Cut your loose threads. And now let's pick our lining piece back up and line up everything. Okay. We're going to line up our edges. And now you can kind of see it taking shape. Okay. You can kind of see it taking shape a little bit. All right. We were right here. We're right here. So we need to baste our pocket piece. We need to baste our pocket piece. You know what? Let me see something here. I don't even see. Oh, there it is. I was about to say, I don't even see where this tells you to repeat for the other side, but I see it right here. It's up here where you're going to repeat for the other side. Okay, so we're going to baste our pocket in place, and then we're going to go ahead and attach our front and back stay to our other leg. Anybody watching have any questions while I am pulling out my top stitching thread? Any questions about anything? Actually, you have any questions about anything sewing related, anything about the jeans? Ask me. I'm putting my regular thread back in. And so while I'm doing that, Let's take some questions if there are any. Angel, you good? Questions?
I did have a question, but I think looking at it, I'm figuring it out. But like the coin pocket
Uh-huh.
has like from folding it over, it has a little overhang, but I'm
Yeah.
seeing that that's going to be like hidden by the.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's got a little bit of overhang and it's no problem at all. Here, let me
Okay.
show you overhang. Let me show you. So look, coin pocket has overhang. I just snipped a little bit of that edge off. Look at this. There's overhang here.
Okay.
There's overhang here. There's overhang. Look at this. Over here.
Gotcha.
It's no problem.
Okay.
It's no problem. Okay. All that's going to be hidden. And as we get ready to, put them together and do more of the construction, you can cut it off if it irks your nerves. There are certain things that kind of make me like, ugh, because I want it
Mhm.
to be like really, really precise and really, really perfect. Like, for instance, if I wasn't on live, I would have taken this out and I would have
Mhm.
redone this because
Mhm.
this section that's off, it's not exactly on the edge like this part here. I don't
Right.
like. But that's just me. Look at it. It's not the end of the world. It ain't that big of a deal, but that's just how I sew, me personally.
Right.
Okay. So all that little overhang, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it at all. Unless again, it is something that you're like, I don't like the way that looks. I want to switch.
Mhm.
Okay. Is it necessary to understitch if you're going to top stitch anyway? No. It's not. It's not necessary to understitch if you're going to do that top stitching. Good point, Kim. If you're going to top stitch, you don't have to understitch. Yes, that gives you one extra step. But again, that's just my personal preference. Okay. So that's a good observation, Kim. When you have a pocket piece like this, right? You turn it under. If you give it a good, nice, woo, yeah, that's hot. If you give it a good, nice press, okay, nice and flat, then do your top stitching, you're going to keep that lining on the inside anyway. So no, it's not necessary, but I'm so used to always top stitching, like I'm just always top stitching. That's just me. So that was an extra step. Those of you that are going to be making this and you're like, I don't want any extra steps, skip the top stitching. But I like precision, like a lot of precision when I sew. That's just me. Okay. But if you are not top stitching, like Carm said, if you're not doing any kind of top stitching, you're just making like a regular garment, you want to understitch facings, necklines, pockets, because if you don't, over time, that facing is going to roll to the outside and look real ugly. No matter how nice and good you press it or starch it or whatever, it will roll to the outside. Okay. All right. We are going to now baste our you get confused by understitching? No worries. I'll show you at Project Sew next month. We'll do a little mock-up of understitching. Okay. We are going to now baste the pocket. Let me flip it over so you can get a good visual. This whole little section right here, we're going to baste the top all the way around, and that is this portion of our instructions right here. So we're just basting around the pocket stay. That's all we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to do it from this wrong side just so I can see it well. If you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can just throw a couple of pins in there to keep everything nice and flat, keep stuff from shifting on you. Okay. All right. So we're going to baste the pocket stay. You know that when you are well, maybe you don't know. When you are doing a basting stitch, you put your stitch length on the longest stitch possible. So you take your stitch length and put it on the longest stitch possible. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I put my stitch length on the longest length, and I'm going to just baste. You don't have to back stitch. I'm just going to go ahead and baste the edges of this little pocket stay here all the way around. Which is just going to keep everything sitting nice and flat together. All pieces nice and flat together. And I should actually have been basting closer to this edge, but I'll take them out as I see them. When I'm done, I'll take them out as I see them. But if you base closer to your edge or in your seam allowance, then you don't have to worry about them poking out. Like mine are going to poke out because I went so far in. Okay, we got one leg done. We can pop those pins out and take a look at it. We got one leg done. Okay, this is our right leg. This is our right leg. Okay, here's our coin pocket. Here is our main pocket. And we have a pretty inside of our pocket. Okay, so this little pocket stay that we have here, this is what it does. It gives you a pretty inside pocket. So every time you reach your hands in your pocket, you see your pretty fabric, down in there. Okay, so it gives you a pretty inside.
Unless you did like me and just got leftover scrap ugly muslin fabric as your lining.
Yep, you can do that
So,
too.
I won't have a pretty inside, but next time I'm gonna pick something cute like what you have, because that's really cute.
Thank you very much. And so here's the thing. All right, Angel, here's the thing. When you are making different everybody, when you're making different projects, you keep your scraps. Okay, this is so old. This is from when my daughter was like, she is 15 now. This is when she was like 4 or 5. Okay, and I think I made some shorts out of this. And I just kept the leftover fabric, and it was perfect for pocket piece. Okay, so you keep your leftover fabric, and you can use it for, you can use it for pocket pieces like this. You can use it for inset pockets, like on a skirt, regular pocket pieces, all kinds of fun things. All right, so here is what it looks like, and we are done with this leg. We're going to do our pocket stays on the other leg now. So we can put this to the side. This is amazing, but I don't think I'm this advanced. Georgia, if you watch the replay, you will be able to do it. All you're going to do is go slowly and follow exactly what I'm doing. Okay. And then if you get stuck, and this is for everybody, if while you're sewing this, you get stuck, you can message me. So look, you can message me, email me, or you can text me in the studio and say, hey, I have a question. I'm doing the ginger jeaning and I'm lost here, I'm lost there, whatever the case may be. And I'll help you. Okay. So right there, you have the email address on the screen, and you've got the number to text me in the studio, and I'll help you. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go back to the other. Actually, we need the pocket stays first before we get that leg going. Let me put that right there. We're going to get our other pocket piece and do the same thing on the other side. So we're back to right here. So we just did this one. We're going to flip now and do the other side. We'll move our pattern piece out the way. Here's our our pocket stays. F1. Oh, I took my pattern piece off too quick. F1. Which one is F1? This one is F1. This one's F1. Okay. So we got F1, which is going to be our our bottom pocket stay. Where's my snip? Okay, my bottom pocket stay. And then we've got F2, which is going to sit this way. And again, every time I look at this, it always looks wrong to me. My sides are lining up. It always looks wrong to me. So, like I said, even though you've got one, it's hard for me because the front and back of my lining pieces look the same. So I could very easily put this on the wrong way. When you have a front, your fabric pieces have an obvious front and back, it is easier. But for me, I get confused when I'm using fabric that looks the same on each side. And so, like I said, all I do is my little tester where I pretend like I'm doing what it says to do, which is for us sewing the bottom. Remember, we sew the bottom and then we flip it. So that bottom would have been sewn. Here's my left leg. And so what will happen is this will open up and sit on my left leg, just like that. Just like we did before. We're going to stitch around this side, clip into our curves, flip it to the wrong side. And just by doing that little tester, pretending, I know that I have my piece correct, because it'll end up sitting like that. Okay. All right, let me move this piece and get our pins off and start with our construction. Okay. So here's my left pocket stay, or left pocket facing, what this one is called. Yes. Here's my left pocket facing. We're going to finish the bottom, our overcast stitch or zigzag or whatever you're going to do on this bottom, just like we did on the right. Then we're going to baste it up here. Then we're going to put our top pocket stay on, stitch the bottom, and flip it. All right, so I'm going to my little overcast stitch. And I'm going to finish my edge all the way around. Same thing we did on the opposite side. Oh, you know what? Look, here's another mistake. Technically, I didn't have to finish this side because this is going to be sewn into the side seam. I need to finish the bottom and the curve. Is this going to mess up anything? No, but I'm just pointing out another little mistake. So technically, I should have been starting right here and gone just around the curve. Again, we're working on the left leg. This is the pocket facing for the left leg of our jean. All right. You can cut the loose threads. We do not have a coin pocket on this side, so I'm gonna pull out my tailor tack. We're gonna line up the edge of our facing with the edge of our bottom pocket stay. And we're going to right around just this edge, about a 1/4 of an inch from this edge. We're going to stitch it in place. So again, just off this top edge, only on this little portion of our pocket. Top edge down the side. Quarter of an inch from the edge. I didn't put any pins, but if you feel that you need to add pins, absolutely add them. Nothing wrong with it. I add them, use them all the time. My machine is still on. There's another little mistake. So see, for my newbie, see all the mistakes you can make? My machine was still on my overcast stitch. Back stitch at your end. All right. So this is what we have. Now we're going to take our our top pocket stay, put it right on top. You will notice that kind of hard to see, but I got a notch right here, and it lines up with that notch on the back. So that's another way that you can know that your pattern pieces are the right way. Get everything as nice and as flat as possible, as even as you can. And then for those of you who are, you're not into having everything as precise, that's fine. Just put them together however you put them together. Okay. And then we're going to pin our bottom because we're going to sew down here. Right along this bottom edge. Whoops. Okay. So flipping this little bottom edge underneath the machine, 5/8 of an inch. We're going to sew. Back stitching at the very beginning and the end. Again, for my newbies, making sure that you remove your pins as you get to them, and then also gently guiding your fabric as you come to a curve. You're just turning. So you see, I'm doing my hand like this gently as I sew, which is helping me to get the curve and keep my seam allowance right on that 5/8 inch line. Can y'all see that? Let me see something. Close that out. And that way you can see a little bit better this 5/8 of an inch marking. Okay, so here it is. That back part, that bottom part is sewn just like we did on the other side. Okay, bye, Kim. You're gonna go back and watch the replay? No problem. Let me know if you need help. Get stuck with anything. You're welcome. All right, so here we go. We've got that bottom part. Now we're going to take our left pant leg. Okay, and remember, we're going to put this right on top. So we'll open this up. Remember, going to open it flat and just lay this right on top. And we're going to pin right inside of our little pocket section. And then we're going to sew. Line up those edges. All right. Take it to the machine. 5/8 of an inch. And back stitch at that end. Just like before, we are going to clip into our curve here, making sure not to cut our stitching line. So just snipping right into that curve, which is going to help to release that tension of the fabric. So when we flip it, we get a nice smooth turn. I am going to top stitch mine. Understitch mine. And then we'll top stitch. All right. Get the iron ready. We're now going to flip this to the inside and give it a good press. Then we'll top stitch. When I made the muslin for this, I used a regular non-stretch fabric and it came out really, really good. Really good. But I think it'll be even better with this stretch denim. Even though, the pattern does call for a stretch denim, but I was making my muslin and I just made it with, just some old fabric I had on hand. Okay, so here is the left side of our leg. There's the inside of our pocket, nice and pretty. We are going to top stitch. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and pull out my regular thread, and I'm going to put in my top stitching thread, and I'm going to increase my stitch length. All right, let me put my stitch length 3.5. Okay, that is in there. Again, lining the edge of that presser foot up with the edge of the fabric here, right on this little inside groove. This is how I am keeping my top stitching even, or the way that I like it. Okay, look at that. Y'all saw that? My top stitching thread just jammed on the bottom. That happens sometimes because the top stitching thread is thicker. So what I'm going to do is raise my presser foot and pull out the bird's nest. See it there? Can you see that? That happens. And so what I'm going to do now is simply cut that out. I'll use my seam ripper. Let me see. I'm going to use a scissor. All right, there we go. Got it out. I'm going to start again. That happens sometimes. When you see that happen, just stop. If you turn your hand crank and wiggle your thread as you turn the hand crank like this, like turn the needle back and forth like that and wiggle the thread, it should come loose. All right, we'll start again. Angel, you all right?
Yes, I am. I'm just now getting to the like finishing prepping the pockets and
That's
everything.
okay. That's
So
okay.
yeah.
Not a rush. And remember, you have got the replay
Yeah.
that you can always watch, catch up with for tomorrow night. All right, I'm keeping the edge of my stitching line on the outside of my presser foot for my next row. And again, this is just what I do when I'm being lazy. There are various presser feet that will allow you to make nice even top stitching, edge stitching feet, all kinds of stuff that you can use. I just don't feel like changing out feet. And so this is just one of the little hacks that I do when I'm being lazy. And I also wanted to show my newbies that you don't have to have any type of specialty feet when you're just starting out and building your sewing supplies, your sewing notions and tools and all of that. You can use your regular foot. Okay, so here we go. Cut our loose threads. Get them all cut off. Cleaned up, everything nice and clean. Here's the inside of our little pocket area. Okay, here's the outside. Now we're gonna bring our little pocket section back up, line everything up nice and flat, and we are going to baste. So here's the front, a little pocket. We are going to baste our pocket bag just like we did on the other piece, on the right leg. Just going to baste around this section, okay? And that puts us right back here where we stopped, and then we get ready to sew the fly. So I'm going to take out my top stitching thread. And put back my regular thread. So those of you that have more than one machine, you see how helpful it is when you are sewing jeans at any given point to set up this additional machine if you have it, because then you don't have to go back and forth. But if you don't have it, you see just how easy it is as I'm doing it. All right, we are ready now to baste. I'm basting the wrong way just so that, you know, I can see easily what I'm doing. And if you want to put some pins in the middle just to keep everything in place, you can. So nothing shifts around on you. Your basting stitch is your longest stitch length on your machine. If you baste inside of your seam allowance close to the edge, you don't have to worry about having to take it out or anything like that. Okay. So here is our left pant leg. There's our pretty inside pocket, the back of our little pocket bag. So we have now got left and right pant leg sewn, pocket pieces in, and nicely top stitched. Okay. Again, when you're top stitching, all you need to do is go slow, take your time, no rush, and use some type of a guide. Angel, you want to show your twin needle that you bought? Angel purchased some twin needles. That's another option.
Yes.
Take a look at Angel's twin needles. You can do that. Okay. So that's a Schmetz twin needle. It's about a quarter of an inch or so in width. It's gonna give her the same top stitching that I'm showing you guys. So if you want to use a twin needle, you can absolutely use a twin needle. But I'm just showing you for those who are like, I can't get nothing else. It's not necessary. You
I
can use your
actually did my top stitching without it, just using your tips, and it turned out I'm pretty proud of it.
Good.
My top
Good.
stitching was pretty good.
Let's put you in. Wait a minute. There you go. Show us. Oh, yes. Yeah, Angel, perfect. Oh, look at that. That's good top stitching. Good. Excellent. That looked good. So you can use a twin needle. Here's Angel's little workstation here. Give you a little peek at Angel's part of town. You can use a twin needle, or you can use just this little tip that I'm giving you as far as just using your edge foot. A twin needle is always fun because it's not just for denim. You can use a twin needle to do all kinds of decorative stitches on anything that you are sewing, t-shirts and all kinds of fun stuff. If you don't have a cover stitch machine, you can mimic the look of a cover stitch on the bottom of a t-shirt by using a twin needle. It'll give you that double row of stitching. When you're working with a twin needle, you want to use two different threads. So if you are going to use a twin needle to do your top stitching, you got to have two spools of top stitching thread, and you're going to need to prop up your extra spool pin holder. Pop that on so that both of your spools of thread can be worked through the machine and then through each eye of the double needle. Okay, so remember that.
I do have a quick question, Mia.
Yes.
So I'm putting my coin pocket on the pocket facing, and the corner is supposed to go at one dot and then the edge at the other, but my edge is like way past the dot. I mean,
Yep.
hold on.
Mine was too.
Okay, so that's fine. I don't know.
Mine was too. And you want to bring it down. Your coin pocket, that bottom edge. So look at the picture. Go back to page 10.
Yep.
Look at the picture. On the left-hand side. See that bottom edge?
Yeah.
Make sure that bottom is lined up. Let me turn it on for everybody else to see what we're talking about. Okay. Where is? Here we go. Right here. This bottom edge. Okay. So you had your coin pocket sitting like kind of up in the middle. You want that bottom curve of the coin pocket to match the bottom curve of pattern piece D, that pocket facing.
So it's more important that it's matching the curve than it is matching the dots.
Yeah, mine didn't match the dots either. Okay. And it's no
way
problem.
off the dots.
Yeah, mine was way off the dots too. In this particular pattern, simply because I, did a muslin for it, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to ruin anything. Okay. Now I know this is going to be your muslin too. So you will notice once you've sewn this, if you're like, oh, I don't like the way that pocket sat, then you can make your pocket bigger or make your the turn, the half inch turn on the
Mhm.
bottom and the top. You can make it less. Instead of doing a half inch, do a quarter of an inch. If you find that, oh, I don't like it, I never use the coin pocket on my jeans. It's just decorative,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter. But if you are
Okay.
one who likes to use the coin pocket and you want it to be precise, after you make your sample, you'll know what you want to change, if anything. Okay.
Got you. Thank you, Nicole. I'm trying, girl. I'm trying.
All righty. Yeah, Nicole, that top stitching was fire, right? It was perfect. Okay, so we have finished our pocket stays, and we are now ready to sew the fly. You see right here where it tells us all references to left or right refers to how it is worn on the body. Okay, so when they say left leg, right leg, it is how it's worn on the body. All you have to do is just turn the fabric over. So if I turn this fabric right here over, I can see that this is my left leg. Here's the pocket. Here's the fly. This is going to be my left leg. Okay, so we are now sewing the flies together. The first thing we need to do is and sewing a fly is, I hate it. This is the one thing I hate. This is the one thing that I always have to stop and go very, very slow doing, because it's just so confusing. But thank you, Nicole. But truth be told, sewing a fly really isn't that hard. It really isn't. Okay. It looks it's more intimidating, by appearance than it really truly is. If you go slow, read again, read a third time, and then just go slow. You've seen throughout this little so long, little mistakes that I've made. It's not the end of the world. It's no big deal. If you make a mistake, unstitch it and do it again. It's no problem. No stress. No, you know what I mean? No worries at all. And for newbies, listen, I've been doing this for a minute and I still make mistakes. I still get like, oh my gosh, I put that on backwards or I put it on wrong. It happens. Not Nicole, Creations by Cole, can tell you it happens all the time. She's been doing this a hot minute too. And so she can tell you that it happens, even for those that are skilled and been sewing a long time, it happens. Speaking of Creations by Cole, I'm gonna keep you guys posted when she does her bag class, because you want to jump in and take it. She makes bags and teaches how to make bags that are absolute fire, like no joke fire, like for real. Bags that you'd pay $200, $300 for just looking at it, $400 for. Like, she makes insanely good bags. And so she'll be doing some classes. And when she does, I will keep you posted. Here, let me make sure you're on our little mailing list. If you go to, let me put it in the chat. If you click this link and then hit live sew alongs, Twitch and YouTube, I'll keep you guys posted. You'll get emails from me and newsletters and all that, and you'll know when she's doing a bag class. She makes inspired by type classes. So designer inspired. They're not Gucci bags, but they are inspired by Gucci and look like a Gucci bag. She makes inspired by designer bags that are just like, I'll never buy another designer bag again, messing around with Nicole, because for real. Yeah, Georgia, you got to take the class. I'm telling you, they're coming soon. You see, she put in the chat, they're coming soon. And just jump on that mailing list, click that link right there, sign up, get on the newsletter list, and you guys will stay up to date on all the different classes that my friends that are doing, that I'm doing. This is so much fun. I'll probably do this a lot more. Sew-alongs like this, making different garments and things like that, because it's just fun. All right. let's keep it going. We're going to sew our fly. So this is telling us now that we need to finish the raw edge of the left front leg fly extension. Here's the picture, the left front leg fly extension. We need to finish that raw edge right up into that little dip there. And I am already on the left front leg fly extension. So we're going to go ahead and do our finishing right here, and we're going to stop right here. Okay. So I'm going to put this on my number 10 stitch. I'm going to do it from the wrong side. And again, just zigzagging over that edge to finish that raw edge. This is another section where if you have a serger, you can serge. If you have, if you want to just do pinking shears, you can do that as well. And we're going to stop right here at that little corner. All right, so right there, I'm just going to stop. And so you see, just did a an overcast stitch right on that front edge. Okay, now pattern tells us to place our front leg pieces on top of each other. Okay, right sides together, aligning the fly extension. We're going to lay them right sides together, aligning the fly extension. We're going to start at the top, and we are going to baste a straight seam down to our little circle dot. So I didn't put a tailor tack on this piece. So on the wrong side is where my dot is. Okay. So here's the right side of my pant. We are laying our pant right sides together. Okay. And what we're going to end up doing is sewing from here using a basting stitch here down to our dot. When we get to our dot, we are going to stop and then we are going to switch to our regular 2.5 stitch. Okay, we're going to back stitch and then we're going to sew this little section right here, this last little section right here with a 2.5 stitch. We're going to do a basting stitch from the top all the way till we get to our dot. Then we're going to stop and switch to a 2.5 and we will sew that portion. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this because I don't want nothing shifting and moving on me. Make sure the top is lined up nicely. See that? Both sides. Going to go ahead and throw our pins in. I tell you, once you've made jeans for yourself, you'll never buy them again because they fit so well. Once you, if it's your very first time, you know, let your first one be your tester. But once you get that fit right, best thing ever. They fit so, so well. Better than any store-bought jean. All right. So we are going to, again, we are sewing basting stitch, which is your longest stitch length. That is putting your machine on the longest stitch length possible. We're going to do a basting stitch, 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, basting stitch from the top all the way down till we get down here to our dot. Once we get down to our dot, we will go back to our regular stitch length and finish this portion here with our regular stitch length. We are looking at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right. Let me make sure that this didn't have something special. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to pivot back to our 5/8 of an inch line like that at our dot. Put it back on our regular stitch length. We're going to go forward, back stitch, and then we're going to go ahead and sew all the way down. And I'll show you how it looks so you can see the difference between the stitch length. All right, so you can see that our stitches are big here, and then when we get here, they get tight. Okay. So now we are going to snip into our curve. Let me find where it tells you to stitch into the curve. Okay, right here. Snip from the corner of the flag extension to the circle mark, being careful not to snip into your stitching line. Okay, and then you're going to finish the bottom of that crotch seam. So right here, you can see that little snip. See it? You snip to the dot. Don't go through it, just snip to it, and then we're going to finish this bottom edge. And I guess we will stop right there, which is going to be right here. Okay. So here it is. Take your scissors. You are going to cut into this little groove up to that little point on the stitching line. Don't cut through it. Just cut right up to it like that. Okay. Cut this little loose thread here. And then we are going to finish this portion here. We're going to finish this. So put this back under the machine, and we're just going to finish this edge. Again, if you are using pinking shears or your serger, finish this bottom edge. You see that? Bottom edge is finished. Jean is clipped to that little corner section. And then what we're going to end up doing, our very last thing, is we're going to press that crotch seam to the left. Okay. And that's where we're going to stop. We'll pick up tomorrow night with top stitching our front, and then we will insert our zipper for our fly. Okay. Unless you guys want to keep going, let me know. If you are not tired and want to keep going, let me know. If you are like, okay, I want a little break, let's do more tomorrow, then type it in chat. Let me know.
I definitely want to try to catch up.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So we will stop right here.
Yeah, I don't want to get too far behind and yeah.
Yeah, no problem. We'll stop right here. No problem at all. And we know that our coin pocket is on the right. This is our regular pocket here. Here's the jeans facing us. We know this is our left, this is our right. And so just like the picture, we're going to go ahead and press our seam here to the left. Let my iron heat up. And we're going to split this part. We're going to split this part flat. All right, we've got that pressed. And we're going to take our fly. Oh, we can't really press it open yet. Wait a minute. That's when we open it up from top stitching. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. All right, we can press this portion flat like this. All righty, so our fly is pressed flat this way. And I'll also kind of flip it to the front. Let's give it we'll press that way. And this is where we'll stop. Any questions? Anybody have any questions?
I did have one question. You said that you did your first muslin using a non-stretch fabric.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you go up in the size or it still fit even non-stretch?
Nope, it fit. It fit. It was, if you were watching when we were on Project So, that was the muslin.
Mm,
And it fit. But it will fit, I think, even better with the stretch.
got it.
Yeah, it'll fit even better with the stretch. All right, y'all. If there are no questions, we will be back tomorrow night, 7:00, and we're going to continue sewing our jeans. We'll see how far we get tomorrow. If we don't get them finished, then we'll come back next Friday night and we'll do it all again and continue until we get it done. Okay?
And I'll be working
Thank you.
tomorrow early to try to catch up so that I'm in the same place, hopefully, by the time we get on tomorrow.
Okay. If you have any questions, remember, you can always message me if you get stuck or you have any questions. You can email me or you can text me in the studio and I'll jump on and help you, no problem. If it's your first time making jeans or, sewing jeans or anything like that, no fear, you got it. This tutorial is going to be on Twitch for 7 days and then they'll take it down, but it'll be on YouTube. So on my YouTube channel, CBS Academy, it'll be right there. You can go back, watch the replay, and so get it together. Sew your jeans. Night, Georgia. All right.
Thank you.
Everybody have a wonderful night. Thanks for hanging out with us. I will see y'all tomorrow night and we'll continue. Have a good one.
Thank
Bye.
you, Mia.
You're welcome. Bye, Angel.
Bye.